There is a truth that surprises and saddens many people after the age of 80. The body does not age gradually the way most people think it does. Some changes happen very quickly. In just a few short years, you can lose strength in your legs. Your memory may start slowing down, your balance may become less stable, and things that once felt simple, like getting up from a chair, climbing a few stairs, or going grocery shopping on your own, can suddenly become much harder. After the age of 80, the body can lose up to 15% of its muscle mass in just 10 years. By age 85, about 1 out of every 3 people will experience serious memory problems. And perhaps the scariest part of all is that one fall that seems harmless can completely change the rest of an older person's life. A lot of people tell me, "I'm still fine, I can still walk, I can still take care of myself." But what they do not realize is that the most dangerous changes usually do not happen all at once. They build quietly, month after month, year after year, until one day you realize your body is not the same anymore. And that is exactly why I want you to watch this entire video. Because today I am going to share the 5 things that happen after the age of 80 that almost nobody is prepared for. More importantly, I am going to tell you what you can do to slow them down, protect your independence, and avoid the kind of life-changing events that many people only realize when it is already too late. Because sometimes what determines whether you stay healthy and independent in old age is not your age itself. It is whether you know what is coming early enough. Number 1. Muscle loss happens faster. The first thing that happens after the age of 80, and one of the biggest reasons so many people lose their independence sooner than they ever expected, is that muscle begins to disappear at an alarming rate. A lot of people think they are just getting a little weaker because of age. They notice they climb stairs more slowly. Getting out of a chair feels harder. Carrying a heavy grocery bag makes them tired much faster. But what they do not realize is that this is not just normal fatigue. It is a sign that the body is losing the very thing that helps you stand, walk, and take care of yourself every single day. After the age of 80, muscle loss speeds up dramatically. Doctors call this sarcopenia, which is age-related muscle loss. But the problem is that it does not just make you weaker. It slowly makes every part of daily life more difficult. At first, you may simply notice that you walk more slowly than other people. Then, you find yourself needing to hold onto the railing when you go up or down the stairs. Then, one day, you realize you need to push yourself up with your hands just to get out of the couch. Some people used to be very active. They drove themselves, worked in the yard, went shopping on their own. But after just a few years, they no longer have the strength to carry a grocery bag from the front door to the kitchen. That is the scariest part about muscle loss. It does not happen all at once. It takes away your independence little by little until one day you realize you are depending on other people more than ever before. And as muscle gets weaker, the risk of falling starts going up very quickly. A small trip on the edge of a rug, missing one step on the stairs, or slipping in the bathroom can suddenly lead to something very serious. At age 80, a fall is no longer just a few bruises. It can mean a broken hip, weeks in the hospital, losing the ability to walk, or even never returning to normal life again. What shocks many people is that about 20 to 30% of older adults who break a hip will die within a year. Not because of the broken bone itself, but because of the complications that follow, such as pneumonia, infections, long periods in bed, loss of mobility, and rapid physical decline. But here is the good news. Muscle can still improve, even if you are already in your 80s or 90s. You do not need to lift heavy weights or train like a young person. You simply need to walk a little more each day, practice sitting down and standing up from a chair several times, use resistance bands, hold light dumbbells, or just make an effort to move your body more instead of sitting all day. Besides exercise, protein is extremely important. Many older adults do not realize they are eating far too little protein. A breakfast of toast and tea is not enough to keep your muscles strong. After age 80, the body needs more protein to maintain strength. Eggs, fish, Greek yogurt, chicken, beans, high-protein milk, or whey protein can all make a big difference. Because sometimes what allows you to keep getting up on your own, keep walking, and keep living your own life is not just determination. It is whether you still have enough muscle left to do it. Number 2, the brain slows down. When the body starts getting weaker, that is not always what scares older adults the most. What worries many people even more is when they begin to feel like their mind is no longer as sharp as it used to be. You walk into the kitchen and forget why you went there. You see someone you have known for years, but it takes a few extra seconds to remember their name. You are in the middle of a conversation and suddenly cannot think of the word you want to say. These things happen more and more often after the age of 80. The most important thing I want you to understand is this: it does not automatically mean you are losing your mind. Many older adults become terrified when they start forgetting more. They immediately think about Alzheimer's disease. They start worrying that they are becoming a burden to their children. But the truth is that after the age of 80, it is completely normal for the brain to process information more slowly. You still remember. It just takes you longer to remember. You can still make decisions. You just need a little more time to think. That is a natural part of aging, but that does not mean you should ignore every warning sign. After age 85, about 1 out of every 3 people will develop some form of dementia. That is a very large number, and what makes it so frightening is that many people do not realize there is a problem until even very simple things start becoming difficult. At first, it may just be forgetting appointments, forgetting to take medication, forgetting to lock the door, forgetting to turn off the stove. Later, they may start repeating the same question over and over, telling the same story several times, or getting confused about dates. Some people used to be extremely organized and careful, but over time, they stop remembering where they put their wallet, whether they already ate, or even what they said just a few minutes ago. The saddest part is that many people start feeling embarrassed about it. They stop wanting to talk. They avoid seeing friends. They stop going to gatherings because they are afraid they will say the wrong thing, forget someone's name, or not be able to keep up with the conversation. And that isolation causes the brain to decline even faster. The brain is just like muscle. If you stop using it, it weakens much faster. I have met people in their 80s who are still very sharp. They read every day. They play chess. They do crossword puzzles. They learn how to use a new phone, learn how to video call their grandchildren, learn how to cook something new, or join community groups. Not because they are smarter than anyone else, but because they keep their brains busy. One of the most dangerous things for memory after the age of 80 is not age itself. It is loneliness. When you talk less, see people less, and go out less, the brain loses the stimulation it needs to stay sharp. Some people spend all day sitting in front of the television without talking to anyone and without anything to look forward to. After a few months or years, they start slowing down in very noticeable ways. Sleep matters just as much. Many older adults think waking up several times during the night is normal, so they simply accept it. But while you sleep, your brain is doing something very important, clearing out waste and toxins that build up during the day. If you sleep poorly for a long time, those toxins build up faster, and the risk of memory decline increases. That is why you need to keep your brain active every day. Not with anything complicated. Just read a few pages of a book, call a friend, take a walk, play a brain game, learn something new, or simply talk to other people more often. Because losing strength in your legs is frightening. But losing your memories, losing the ability to recognize the people you love, that is what many people fear most after the age of 80. Number 3, bones become more fragile. Many people think osteoporosis is only a problem for women or something that only happens at a very old age. But the truth is that after age 80, both men and women can lose bone very quickly. The dangerous part is that weak bones do not hurt right away. You cannot look in the mirror and tell that your bones are slowly becoming thinner. You can still walk around and go about your normal routine until one small slip changes everything. At this age, bones do not just become thinner. The inside structure of the bone becomes more hollow, more fragile, and much easier to break. The areas most likely to be affected are the hips, spine, and wrists. Some people break a hip just by missing one step on the stairs. Others bend down to pick up something heavy and end up with a compression fracture in their spine. Some people slip slightly in the bathroom and end up spending months in the hospital. What makes this so frightening is that many people never fully recover after one major fracture. Someone who was still grocery shopping, cooking, and taking care of themselves can lose everything after just one fall. First comes the hospital stay. Then comes the walker. Then comes needing help to bathe, get dressed, and use the bathroom. Some people never regain the ability to walk the way they used to. And when someone stays in bed for too long, a whole new set of problems begins. Pneumonia, bed sores, muscle loss, weakness, loss of appetite, and depression. That is why a broken bone at age 80 is not just about the bone itself. It can take away your freedom, your confidence, and your quality of life. But there is one thing I always want older adults to understand. Bones do not stop changing just because you are getting older. Bones can still become stronger if you give your body a reason to keep them strong. One of the biggest mistakes people make after age 80 is that the more afraid they are of falling, the less they move. They sit more. They walk less. They stop going out because they think it is safer. But what they do not realize is that the less they move, the faster their bones become weaker. Bones need pressure to stay strong. When you walk, stand up and sit down, climb a few stairs, or do gentle weight-bearing exercises, your body gets the message that your skeleton still needs to stay strong. But if you spend most of your time sitting in a chair or lying in bed, your body slowly starts getting rid of the bone it no longer thinks it needs. Besides movement, vitamin D and calcium are also very important. Many older adults are low in vitamin D without even knowing it, especially those who spend most of their time indoors or rarely get sunlight. When vitamin D is low, the body cannot absorb calcium properly, and bones weaken much faster. You do not need to do anything complicated. Just walk every day, get a little morning sunlight, eat more calcium-rich foods like yogurt, canned sardines or salmon with bones, cheese, leafy greens, and have your bone density checked regularly if your doctor recommends it. Because sometimes what determines whether you can still walk on your own at age 85 is not your legs. It is whether your bones are still strong enough to hold you up. Number 4, losing your balance. A lot of people say, "I do not know why I fell. Everything happened so fast." But the truth is that the body usually sends warning signs long before that moment. Maybe you start feeling a little unsteady when you stand up too quickly. Maybe you find yourself holding onto the wall when you walk in the dark. Maybe you do not feel as steady when going down the stairs or walking across a slippery floor. At first, these things seem small. You think it is just a normal part of aging. But over time, they can turn into something much more dangerous. After the age of 80, the body's balance system no longer works the way it used to. The inner ear, which helps you understand direction and body position, becomes less effective. Your eyesight is not as sharp, especially at night or in dim lighting. Your feet gradually lose sensation, making it harder to feel the ground beneath you. Your reflexes slow down, so when you trip or slip, your body cannot react quickly enough to keep you upright. When all of those things happen at the same time, even a very small situation can turn into a major accident. A rug with a curled-up edge, a little water on the bathroom floor, a pair of loose slippers, a low step that you do not see clearly. Things that seem harmless can send thousands of older adults to the hospital every year. The sad part is that after one fall, many people are not just hurt physically. They become afraid. They become afraid to walk alone, afraid to shower when nobody else is home, afraid to go outside, afraid to go down the stairs. And then they start sitting more, moving less, and seeing people less often. But the less they move, the weaker the body becomes. Muscles shrink, bones get weaker, balance gets worse, and the risk of falling goes up even more. It becomes a vicious cycle that many people do not realize until they no longer feel comfortable living a normal life. Another thing many people do not realize is that medication can also affect your balance. Some blood pressure medications, sleeping pills, antihistamines, pain medications, or anti-anxiety drugs can make you dizzy, sleepy, or slower to react. Some people say they no longer feel like themselves after starting a new medication. They feel lightheaded, unsteady on their feet, but assume it is just because they are getting older. In reality, sometimes all it takes is the right adjustment to their medication for them to feel much better. So if you often feel dizzy, unsteady, or have almost fallen a few times recently, do not ignore it. It is not a small thing. The good news is that balance can still improve, even if you are already over 80 years old. You do not need difficult exercises. Simply stand on one foot for a few seconds while holding onto a chair. Walk slowly, heel to toe. Try Tai Chi, gentle yoga, or simply practice sitting down and standing up several times a day. Small exercises like these help your body relearn stability. And if you need a cane, a walker, grab bars in the bathroom, or non-slip mats, do not feel ashamed. Many people think using a cane is a sign of weakness. But sometimes that cane is exactly what allows you to keep going grocery shopping, taking walks, and living in your own home for many more years. Number 5. The immune system gets weaker. When you are younger, you can catch a cold for a few days and bounce back. You can stay up late, eat poorly, or spend time out in the cold without it affecting you too much. But after age 80, the body cannot fight back the way it used to. At this point, the immune system is like a security team that has been working for too many years. It is still trying to protect you, but it no longer responds as quickly or as strongly as before. The body produces fewer immune cells. Its ability to fight off viruses, bacteria, and infections also drops significantly. That is why some older adults get what seems like a mild cold, but end up in the hospital a few days later with pneumonia. Some develop a urinary tract infection and suddenly become confused, unusually sleepy and weak very quickly. Others stop eating for a few days after getting sick, and their bodies become so depleted that it takes months to recover. One of the most dangerous things is that older adults often do not show illness the same way younger people do. When they have an infection, they may not have a high fever. They may not cough very much. Instead, the first signs may simply be feeling more tired than usual, moving more slowly, sleeping more, losing their appetite, or becoming confused. That is why many families do not realize their loved one is having a serious problem until the situation becomes severe. Dehydration is also very common after age 80. As people get older, their sense of thirst becomes weaker. Some people drink only a few sips of water all day because they do not feel thirsty. But the body still needs water to keep blood pressure stable, keep blood flowing properly, support the kidneys, and keep the mind clear. When older adults do not get enough water, they can become dizzy, confused, tired, constipated, and more likely to fall. Some people end up in the hospital not because of a serious disease, but simply because their body has been dehydrated for several days in a row. Nutrition also has a huge impact on the immune system. After age 80, many people eat less because food no longer tastes as good, chewing is harder, swallowing is harder, or they live alone and do not feel like cooking. Some may survive on toast, oatmeal, instant noodles, or a few simple foods every day. The problem is that the body cannot maintain a strong immune system without enough protein, vitamins, and minerals. Foods like eggs, fish, chicken, vegetables, fruit, Yogurt, soup, and other easy-to-eat but nutritious meals can make a huge difference in helping the body stay stronger. Besides food, vaccines are also very important. Many people think vaccines are only for children. But at age 80, vaccines for the flu, pneumonia, and shingles can help prevent very serious complications. And there is one last thing that very few people talk about. Loneliness also weakens the immune system. When you live alone, talk less, see fewer people, and feel more stress and sadness, the body releases more stress hormones. That lowers your ability to fight illness and makes it harder to recover when you do get sick. Because after age 80, health is not just about what you eat or what medicine you take. It is also about whether you still have a reason to get up every morning, someone to call, something to look forward to, and whether you still feel like your life has meaning. The truth is that after the age of 80, the body will change, whether you like it or not. Muscles get weaker. Memory is not as sharp as it used to be. Bones become more fragile. Balance becomes less stable. And the immune system is no longer as strong as it was years ago. But that does not mean you have to accept losing your independence, losing your joy in life, or becoming a burden to other people. I have met people in their 80s who still drive themselves, shop for groceries on their own, take care of their gardens, and live happy, active lives. They are not different because they were luckier than everyone else. They are different because they started taking care of their bodies a little earlier, and they did not give up when age started changing things. You do not need to change everything in one day, but you do need to start today. For the next 14 days, try doing 5 very simple things. Walk for at least 10 minutes every day, eat 1 extra high-protein meal, drink enough water, call or spend time with someone you care about, and spend a few minutes practicing balance or getting up and down from a chair. In just 2 weeks, you may start noticing stronger legs, better sleep, a clearer mind, and more energy. If you are watching this video, leave a comment and tell me the first thing you are going to start changing. And if you have parents, relatives, or friends who are entering their 80s, share this video with them. Because one small piece of information today could help someone avoid a fall, a hospital stay, or a life-changing event in the future. And if you found this helpful, do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss the next one.